The cameras were rolling, the bright studio lights bouncing off polished surfaces, and millions of Americans were glued to their screens. Senator John Kennedy leaned forward, his eyes sharp, his voice steady but cutting. Alejandro Mayorkas, the Secretary of Homeland Security, shifted uncomfortably in his seat, a faint sheen of sweat visible under the intense lights. It was just another live TV hearing, or so most people thought. But what happened next would send shockwaves far beyond the studio walls, shaking the nation in ways no one could have predicted. Kennedy's opening words were deliberate, almost surgical. He didn't shout, didn't exaggerate, he simply laid out facts, statistics, and a series of pointed questions that revealed cracks in the Department of Homeland Security's policies. The kind of questions that hit hard not because of aggression, but because they exposed uncomfortable truths. Mayorkas tried to respond, to parry, to regain control, but every answer seemed to tighten the noose. The audience felt it. This wasn't a typical political sparring match. This was a reckoning. At home, Maria, a single mother in Texas, watched with a mix of awe and anxiety. She had relied on government assistance after losing her job last year, and she worried constantly about border security, immigration, and safety. As she saw Kennedy's questions land, she didn't just see politics, she saw someone finally asking the questions she'd been afraid to voice in public. Tears prickled at her eyes, not because of anger at politicians, but because for the first time, she felt heard. Meanwhile, in a modest apartment in Phoenix, David, a retired Border Patrol agent, clenched his fists. He had dedicated decades of his life to protecting communities, and he had watched policies come and go, often with disastrous consequences. Kennedy's relentless questioning reminded him of the frustrations he had faced every day in the field. It was as if someone had finally stepped into the halls of